Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So last week we did Silver Quill. This week we're doing Lorehold. And this deck is a pretty low to the ground, almost like purely aggressive, all flyers deck that I'm calling the Lorehold Sky Screamers. It's a pretty sweet deck. So basically what we're doing is we are going into the colors of Lorehold, which is white and red. We're not really playing into the mechanics of Lorehold too much, mostly because, honestly, it doesn't vibe with me. I don't really think it's that great. It's like they're kind of trying to play into the whole put stuff into the graveyard and then take things out of the graveyard to get a benefit, and it kind of just gums up the works a little bit. It's just a little too slow, a little too clunky. So I wanted to build a all-flying aggro deck using the Lorehold colors and a few new cards. So let's see what we have here. So starting from the top, we have 3 copies of Dig Site Inventory. We're running 3 copies of Erode. We are running 3 copies of Miner's Guidewing. So you might not know this card. It's pretty under-deserved card, but it's a 1/1 Flying Vigilance for 1 white. And it says, when this creature dies, target creature you control explores. So not too bad for a 1-drop. But then we're also running 4 copies of Momo, Friendly Flier. Now this is the card that kind of really makes the deck sing. So 1 white mana for 1/1 Flyer. The first non-lemur creature spell you cast, or with flying, you cast during each of your turns, costs 1 less to cast. Whenever another creature you control with flying enters, Momo gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So basically, this is giving you a discount to the first creature you play every turn that is not Momo, because Momo is the only lemur in this entire deck. Everything else is non-lemur, so you get the discount. Next up, 3 copies of Burst Lightning. Then you have 4 copies of Hardened Academic. Flying Haste 2/1 for a red and white. Discard a card. This creature gains lifelink till end of turn. And whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, which can be pretty good with cards like Dig Site Inventory, because it's a card with flashback. So you cast it when it's in the graveyard for the flashback cost, it gets removed from the graveyard. Hardened Academic puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature. So there's a little bit of synergy there. Then we got 4 copies of Lightning Helix. Good, classic, deal 3 damage, gain 3 life. Then we have 3 copies of Clarion Conqueror. It's a 3/3 for 3 mana. Flying. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. Pretty solid for only 3 mana, or 2 mana if you have a Momo in play. Then we have 2 copies of Practiced Offense. This is 2 and a white, sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Target creature gains your choice of Double Strike or Lifelink until end of turn. Really solid card, because it pairs really well with the Repartee from Stirring Hopesinger, which is a flying lifelink, 2 and white, 1/3. Repartee, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, which is really solid. So you play Practiced Offense with Stirring Hopesinger on the table. You get a +1 counter for each creature on the table, and then you target a creature to give Double Strike or Lifelink to, triggering the Repartee from Stirring Hopesinger. Really solid synergy right there. Then we, also bear in mind, it has flashback of 2, so if you flashback it later in the game, Hardened Academic on the table, another +1 counter. So you can really get out of hand pretty quickly with this deck. And then the top end is going to be 2 copies of Magmatic Hellkite. It's a 4/5 for 2 colorless and 2 red. Flying, when this creature enters, destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. Its controller searches their library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield tapped with a stun counter on it, then shuffles. Really good for tripping up your opponents in the first couple turns, because with Momo on the table, this actually only costs 3. So you can play this as early as the 3rd turn and get a nice beefy 4/5 flyer on the table and mess up your opponent's next turn. Then we also have the Nova Hellkite, 4/5 Flying Haste. When this creature enters, it deals 1 damage to a target creature and opponent controls. Warp cost of 2 in red, or 1 in red if you have Momo. So, pretty solid card. Then in our mana base, it's pretty straightforward. We got 3 plains, 4 mountains, 3 Inspiring Vantage, we got 4 Sacred Foundry, 3 Sunbillow Verge, 3 Sundown Pass, that's the new land from Strixhaven, and 3 Soulstone Sanctuary. So that's the deck. It's really low to the ground, and honestly can probably get you a few wins pretty easily just by playing on curve. So let's go play some games, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so we get to go first. Awesome. We have a Soulstone Sanctuary and 2 Sacred Foundries, Erode, Burst Lightning, Hardened Academic, and Nova Hellkite. We would like to see a Momo in this opening hand, but honestly, I really can't complain, so let's keep it. Okay, first turn, we're going to drop the Sacred Foundry and pay 2 life to have it come into play untapped. That way we can either cast Erode or Burst Lightning on their first creature they drop. That is, if they drop a creature on turn 1. Okay, we got a mountain into a Clockwork Percussionist. Okay. Alright, well, let's go ahead and just pop that right now. See what they exiled. They exiled a Hallowed Fountain. So this is a weird little Jeskai deck. So let's go Sacred Foundry, number 2, then drop a Hardened Academic. Attack for 2. End turn. Okay, they played the Hallowed Fountain, shocked it into play, so it comes into play untapped. And a Rust Harvester. Interesting. I've not seen a Rust Harvester in ever, actually. Ooh, and a Springleaf Drum. So this is going really hard into artifacts. I like it. What else you got? Pass? They're gonna activate the Springleaf Drum? I guess not. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the Soulstone Sanctuary and then warp in the Nova Hellkite to deal 1 damage to the Rust Harvester. I was kind of expecting them to utilize the Springleaf Drum right there, but I guess not. Pop, pop. Alright, and the turn. Not too bad. We're only at turn 3 and they're already down to 10 health. Pinnacle Emissary, 3/3. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless drone artifact creature token with flying, and this token can block only creatures with flying. Okay, and they're warping it in. Chrome Dome. What does this do? Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+7. 5. Create a token that's a copy of another target artifact you control. That token gains haste, sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Okay. It's interesting. I've not seen anyone playing Chrome Dome before. Maybe tap the Pinnacle Emissary with a Springleaf Drum? Aha, very smart. I like it. Very good. Nice play, gotta say. Alright, let's go ahead and play the Sundown Pass. And I think we just kind of pass at this point because we really don't have a solid play. Okay, and then they're hard casting the Pinnacle Emissary. Okay, take the hit. Okay, end of turn. Let's go and animate the Soulstone. And we'll take our turn. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and play... Actually, do we want to do that or do we want to do the practice offense? No, I think it's better to just play Momo. Okay. Then let's go ahead and hit Erode right here. Boom. And then we get to attack with the Soulstone Sanctuary, because that drone can only block flyers. Boom. Okay, end turn. Now, if they don't deal with Momo this turn, I can get the Nova Hellkite out next turn. Ravenous Robots. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature token. Red tap, create creature tokens you control gain haste. Interesting. I like that card. That's pretty cool. Another Spring Leaf Drum. Okay. And they're going to cast Deduce. Make a clue token. Okay, we got to land. Sacrifice to draw. Okay. Kind of tapped out at this point, though, which is good for me. Alright, well, end of turn. Let's go ahead and get rid of old Chrome Dome here. That seems pretty important to them. Alright, my turn. Sweet. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit the Nova Hellkite. It's going to come in. And it's going to blow up... I think it's going to blow up that drone, honestly. We're going to swing in. Pop, pop. And then we're going to let them take their turn. If they don't gain any life and deal with my board, I think it's game, because we got that Burst Lightning in hand. Tezzeret. Wow, what a weird deck. I mean, I like it. I like what they're doing here. But I've never seen anything quite like this. Another Dusk Rose Reliquary. Okay. Make another drone. Gobble up a creature. Very cool. Search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. What's the card going to be? Another Dusk Rose Reliquary. Okay. Can you deal with everything I got? I don't know if you can. Alright, Dusk Rose. Makes another robot. Pretty cool. Gobble up Momo. And a Synthesizer Lab Ship. Yeah, I dare say I think that's game. Because you don't have any way to gain life. What are you doing? You're just like looking at all your stuff. Station, okay. Yeah, I really don't think you have anything to deal with this. Good game, friend. Wow, what a wild deck. I really like what they were going with there. That was pretty cool.
Ooh, can't keep that hand. No colored mana. Okay, that's a little bit better. We'll keep all of that. I think we'll send back Practiced Offense. That's kind of a card that we want to have later on in the game anyways. Okay, we got a Forest into a Zaz's Chocobo. So we got a green-based landfall deck. So let's go Inspiring Vantage into Momo. So having Momo on the table will allow us to go into Nova Hellkite on turn 2. Yeah, you can block in that. Come on now. Alright, let's go Mountain into Hellkite, warp it in. So Hellkite comes in, Momo gets +1, deal 1 damage to the Chocobo. Not like it matters. Then we swing in. Pop, pop. Alright, and Nova Hellkite bursts back out. Not too bad. 6 damage on turn 2. Pretty good. Tifa Lockhart, huh? Okay. Well, it's a good thing you're tapped out. So let's go ahead and do Sundown Pass. And we're going to go ahead and pop that Tifa right now. And then we'll swing it for 1. Oh, he's hovering. What's he gonna do? Chocobo kick! Alright, my guy's kicked. And you get a +1 counter. Not too shabby. That works out. Alright, let's go Plains. We're going to go Momo. And then we're going to go Hardened Academic. The Academic will attack this turn. Momo will not. Turn. And we have a Sacred Foundry in hand, which means we can play the Nova Hellkite next turn, even if Momo dies. But Momo did not die, because our opponent ran out of lands to play. A landfall deck cannot survive without lands. Okay, looks like we get to go first. We have both of our colors, 2 lands, a couple Momos, Dig Site, Stirring Hopesinger, and a Lightning Helix. Looks good to me. I'll keep it. Okay, let's go Plains, Momo. Now, provided they don't kill Momo, I could play Stirring Hopesinger on 2. Wow, why do you have so many cards in your deck? That's 72. Alright, let's go and drop this. Play the Stirring Hopesinger. Momo gets +1, attack for 2. That's a pretty solid open. Okay, Sunbillow Verge. You also have Scene of the Crime. Interesting. Oh, the Technodrome. Okay. Reach and Trample. This creature can't attack or block unless its power is 6 or greater. Sacrifice another artifact, draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay. So that means we kind of need to kill it immediately before it can start activating its abilities. Alright. End turn. Steam vents into Simulacrum Synthesizer. Okay. So now the clock is really ticking. We need to knock them out, like, next turn if possible. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do Dig Site Inventory. Let's go target here. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's game. Let's win on turn 3. Oh, we can't. Never mind. It didn't target a creature. My bad. That's fine. We'll win on turn 4. Playing the Ooze. Better watch out. And get lost. Okay. No problem. I still have, like, lethal on board. I don't even have to cast the Lightning Strike. But I will. GG. Okay, opponent goes first. We have 4 lands. Momo, Burst Lightning, and Hardened Academic. Under most circumstances, I would say we should keep this hand, but I really hate seeing 4 lands in our open, so let's mulligan that. That's much better. 2 lands, 2 Erode, Lightning Helix, Magmatic Hellkite, and Nova Hellkite. I'll keep that, sending one of the Erodes back. Okay. One opens with a Spirebluff Canal into a Springleaf Drum. Interesting. So let's go ahead. We're going to drop the Sacred Foundry first. Comes in tapped. Riverpire Verge. Okay, let's go with the Sunbillow Verge. Our Verge happens to be active. We're going to end the turn. No creatures to play this turn, but we do have mana available for removal. Okay. Temple of Epiphany. Yes. Okay, opponent's not doing anything, so we're going to blast them for 2. Alright, our turn, Sundown Pass, Hellkite, warp it in. Blast him. Alright, end of turn, Nova Hellkite warps back out. Next turn, we get to play a Magmatic Hellkite. Now, are they going to tap out at all? Crackling Wind, okay. Alright, they made an otter. Congrats. Alright, let's go Mountain, and let's go Magmatic Hellkite. Alright, Hellkite comes in, we will destroy the temple. Now let's give them the old basic check. Alright, to get an island tapped. And does not untap next turn. Very important. Quantum Riddler. Warped in, not hardcast. Splash portaling in. Okay. That sounds fun. All right.
Together we can shift the current.
That Ral is getting pretty big. We're gonna have to knock that down next turn. A Thunder Trap Trainer. Okay. Got a lot of otters over there. Another splash portal. Okay. Alright, well, let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and cast Erode. I think we can get rid of the Quantum Riddler. We're gonna go get a basic land, put it in play tapped. Okay. So we go 5, 6, 7. Or actually, we don't really need to. Yeah, so we can just hit that for 4 and then Helix it. So next, attack right there. Smack it down. Goes to 3 loyalty. And then we blast it. And he's out of there.
I'll search another plane.
Splash portal on the Thunder Trap Trainer. Okay. That's actually pretty decent. Comes back in, they get to Impulse. Long River's Pull. Counter target creature spell if the gift is promised instead counter target spell. Okay. Got a lot of value over there. Not so sure I can get over it. Okay, instant sorcery back, which is the Splash Portal. Oh, at least they're tapping out on their turn. But I am about to take 8 damage. Not ideal. If I can draw a land next turn, I can get the Nova Hellkite out, blast one of their otters. Man, they're going off, aren't they? Yeah, take some hits. Okay, so unfortunate, didn't really get it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go dig site here, and then dig site here, and also get the +1 counter from the card we're leaving the graveyard, and swing in. Okay, they go to 5. End turn. Let's see what they do. Okay, Storm Chaser's talent. Get the prowess. Resolve. My plan is to see if I can survive this turn. If I survive this turn, I can blast them with the Lightning Helix on my turn. But that's going to come down to how many creatures I need to block this turn. Okay, they got another Boomerang Basics. Oh, they're going to bounce my creature, huh? Okay. That's pretty smart. March the tower. Okay. Yeah, I think they got this. It's gone. That's 4, 8, 12, 13. Yep, they got it right now. GG. No need for you to keep going off. Okay, opponent goes first. We have an Inspiring Vantage and Sunbillow Verge. Double Momo, Stirring Hopesinger, Hardened Academic, and a Lightning Helix. That looks pretty solid to me. Let's go. Okay, Concealed Courtyard. Let's open with the Inspiring Vantage and drop a Momo. Ooh, I like that. That's a very nice card back there. Alright, Sunbillow Verge, Hopesinger. +1 on the Momo, and attack for 2. And here's to hoping that the Stirring Hopesinger survives this turn. Ah, never mind. Yeah. That's fine. We have other options. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 2. We can do either. I think, though, we want to go with the Hardened Academic this turn. Swing in. Enter. So I'd rather have multiple targets on the table. United Battlefront, huh? Okay. Got a feeling... Oh, does machines. I was expecting Simulacrum Synthesizer. This class enters, mill 2 cards, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. Okay. Resolve. Alright. Mill 2, draw 2, discard 2. I wonder if this is one of those fix what's broken decks. It could be. Okay. Let's go with a Momo, so that we can still have mana open to cast Erode next turn. And if they don't remove my Momo, I can pop a Nova Hellkite onto the battlefield. Another United Battlefront. How do you like that? Pinnacle Starcage. Alright, let's do this. I need a land. Take action. Let's go get up planes. Alright, let's see here. Warp this in. Smash your face. Bam, 4 damage. Okay, so the plan from here is to get the Hardened Academic on the table next turn, crash in for 2, and then apply Lightning Helixes until they're dead. Let's see if we can get there. Voyager Quick Welder. Interesting. Stationed up. Alright, so let's go with the Hardened Academic. And we're going to attack for 2. Pop. And turn. See what they do. Okay, Cryogen Relic. Very good. Draw a card. I think we can survive this turn. So here's the plan. We're going to cast Erode on our Hardened Academic so we can get another land. And then we go double Helix next turn, provided they don't gain any life this turn. If they don't gain any life this turn, we got this. Let's find out. Okay, Perilous Snare. Alright, well, let's cast Erode. Yep. Take action. We're going to get a mountain this time. Okay, so that's 9, 10, 11 damage they can get to me this turn. And I don't think a deck like that is going to be playing counterspell, so I think we're in the clear. Gain 2 more. Okay, that's all their blue mana tapped out. We are in the clear. Okay, Transmutation Font, Krysian Relic. Yeah, I think that's game. Pop them there. Once more for good measure. GG. GG. Okay, welcome back to the post-game wrap-up, and what I got to say about this deck is this deck works. Having a deck full of nothing but flyers and a ton of removal / burn is kind of a recipe for victory, especially when you can get a Momo onto the table and then follow that up immediately with either Clarion Conqueror or Stirring Hopesinger, and then end the game with Nova Hellkite or Magmatic Hellkite. It's a pretty solid on-curve game plan, especially when you can get a lot of burn through Lightning Helix and Burst Lightning. The Erode actually turns out to be really solid in this deck, especially when you use it on your own creatures to get extra land out if necessary, as we saw in that very last game against the Simulacrum Synthesizer deck. So I would have to say, as far as MVPs versus cards that are kind of like iffy, Momo, absolute MVP. This card makes this deck absolutely sing. Getting in Momo into Stirring Hopesinger into Nova Hellkite or Magmatic Hellkite, it just wins the game. And sometimes it wins the game before the game even starts. So it's a very solid aggro deck. So if you want something that really just gets there sometimes, like despite the opponent's best efforts, you can do worse than this deck. As far as cards that I feel are a little bit lacking in this deck, really the only ones I think are Miner's Guidewing, simply because it's just kind of like a lesser creature. It doesn't do nearly as much as Momo does for the game plan, but it's kind of just in here for another 1-drop creature. And another 1-drop flying creature, specifically. And aside from that, the Hardened Academic, while a great card at only 2 mana, I would much rather get Momo into Stirring Hopesinger or Clarion Conqueror or a warped Nova Hellkite rather than play a Hardened Academic. However, the flying and haste and the ability to discard practiced offense so you can play it for cheaper through flashback is really solid. So I would not discount the Hardened Academic just yet, but give it a shot, play with it yourself, see if you like it or not. Maybe there's another card in the 2-drop slot that you might want to play instead of Hardened Academic. So that's it right there. Honestly, this is probably going to be a daily driver for me. If I just want to log on and jam some games real quick and get some wins, this is a pretty solid deck to make that happen. Lots of burn, lots of aggro, really easy to catch the opponent off guard with this deck. So if you like it, I'll leave a deck list in the description box down below so you can try it out yourself. And until next time, take care of yourself.